Today, my guest is the ASUU President, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke. Welcome to Politics Today.
Thank you very much.
You listened to the Progressive Governors Forum chairman there, Atiku Bagudu, where he reminded everyone that ASUU should consider the plight of the students in its actions. And just yesterday, ASUU declared an indefinite strike, saying that the government was deceitful in the past 5 years. We want to go into the details of some of the conversations that held while you had your NEC meeting as to why this strike was extended. But before then, what's your reaction to this statement by a government official at that level saying that, almost alluding that ASUU should take into consideration beyond the negotiations with the government?
Well, I think it's so unfortunate that instead of resolving issues, you are appealing. This issue can be resolved in the interest of the Nigerian student. You see, the problem we keep having in Nigeria, and that's what government had tried to say to the people, is that strike is the problem, which is not correct. Strike is a symptom of a problem. Any day you sort out that problem, you not have strike. But we keep on looking at the strike. That is why, if whatever government proposes today, once you accept and strike is over, they believe they have solved the problem. And that's why our university has still the same dilapidable place they are today. Because we have a government, we have people who believe that the problem is a strike. It's just like you are having headache. Headache is not your temperature. There is something inside. Until you sort out those things will continue. So we will expect a situation where we have the system sort out the problem and stop strike. That's what they should do, not appeal or this thing, or looking at a strike as the problem.
Let's get this out of the way. It's been at least 24 hours since that indefinite strike was announced. Have you heard from the government?
None. Nothing. That is what we are talking about. When we started our strike, between that period also, a large number of universities in the UK started strikes. It didn't take 2 days. Because they believe in education. And they came in quickly and sorted it out. But in Nigeria, I don't think we care about education. We don't, you see, and the impacts are very clear. As I speak to you, you can see our doctors flying away. You can see our lecturers flying away out of the country. Is that what we want? I heard the Minister of Health saying, when two go, we replace with two. And I feel so sad for a country. So 2 consultants will leave. You go and bring 2 internship lecturers, and you say you have replaced them. 2 internship doctors, you say you replace them. A professor of computer engineering will leave this country and replace with the graduate student. You say you have replaced them. So that is how they look at this country, that once somebody leaves, you replace. Have you replaced that person? Person you took 30, 20 years to train. I have gotten the best, you produce the PhD, and then you say you have replaced him with this thing. And what do you call it? Orthopedic doctor that has been there for a long time, well known all over the world, leaves your country and you say you replace with a fresh doctor, a doctor on internship, and you say you have replaced them.
When was the last meeting with the government?
The last time we had a meeting with government was in June, or May or June, when the chief of staff, the government director, met in a tripartite plus, what they refer to as a tripartite plus meeting. I think early June. We had that meeting, and we agreed that within 6 weeks we reconvene, and the committee will set up in place, will come back and report to us, and we'll take a final decision. But since now, that committee in attendance was the chief of staff, secretary to the federal government, the Sultan of Sokoto, NIREC, the president of CAN, and all the unions. And we met and raised the issues, and they gave the NIMI committee time, 2 weeks or so to finish the negotiation, gave UTAS, ANIDA, 3 weeks to finish testing, and we thought that within the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, this issue they will return back, the chief of staff will reconvene that meeting, then the strike will call off.
But has that not been overtaken by the Minister of Education taking over negotiations now?
Will you compare a minister, if you look at a committee headed by chief of staff and minister, which one is higher?
Have you met the minister since?
We have not. We have not had any official meeting with him. Nothing. All we've had are just unofficial meeting. That is it. Private meeting. That's not official meeting. We have not had any. on this issue.
We know there are some reports coming up from your NEC meeting that there were either suggestions or resolutions that, based on the deceitfulness of the government, as you allege, that ASUU will no longer negotiate with the government. Is that true?
You see, we also have, Nigeria, you have so many media, the social media and what have you. They just release issues just to get, maybe be popular or what have you. We never say so.
So ASUU is still open to negotiation?
We are open to negotiation. As a union, we are open to invitation to anybody. We are willing.
So at what level are we now with this negotiation? Because it would seem that if there are no negotiations in place, this strike could linger till this administration goes out of place.
Look, and I will repeat it to Nigerians. This issue can be resolved in one day if the government side is sincere and not just looking for a way either to punish the union or blackmail, as the Minister of Education said, that we want to use this, what we are doing to ASUU, to teach the labor a lesson. You can imagine that. Your university are short. You are negotiating with the union and you say, I want to use this particular thing to teach the union a lesson. You can imagine that. Two, a minister is going to say, students, go and sue your lecturer because government delayed the process. You see, those are the things you should not hear in a sane system.
Professor Sodeke, last week, the Minister of Education did say that government has met almost all the demands of ASUU. He went further to say that I think 50 billion has been approved for allowances for academic and non-academic staff. Is that true?
You see, I want to put it this way again. Nigerian people will just talk. Is there evidence to show, any evidence to show that they gave us such information in writing that government will give 50 billion for any academic allowance? Is there any evidence? They should show it. Is there evidence to show that they have shown us that they have accepted UTAS, which came tops after the 3 weeks? When we met with the chief of staff, we agree that neither will test the 3, the best will be accepted.
What was the time frame given for that?
3 weeks. That was in June. Have they accepted the NIDA? Have they agreed on when they are giving revitalization fund and where the money is? Have they even, the simplest of them is the release of visitation panel report. A panel that was set up in March last year, we are in August this year. The report is not out. That you don't need money. Have they released the report? Have they done anything on the issue of proliferation in university? You see, we are in a system where people go out because the public is, accept anything. They just churn it out. They should show evidence of what they have done. They should show Nigerian people, the Nigerian student at home, show them that we have done A, B, C, D, and show evidence.
Are you saying the government has done nothing? Absolutely nothing. Or the government has gone a distance which is not satisfactory to us?
The only area where we have something written is on renegotiation. And what did they do? First, they set up a panel in 2017, headed by Balaki, to negotiate with us, 5 years ago. And they delayed us with the idea that they want to introduce tuition fee of 1 million naira and what have you. Do you have to come with a meeting with ASUU to tell Nigerians you want to increase tuition fee? Blackmail. And we rejected because you can't, that's not before us. We rejected it and we insisted. Balaki was removed and they brought Musali Jubril. And when they came, we asked them, do you have the mandate of the government that set you up, your committee up, to negotiate with us? They said yes. We said fine. So we negotiated, collective bargaining. You give and take. And we reached an agreement. And they said, give us permission, give us time to go to our principal to give the permission to sign that agreement, which is normal. And they went in May 2021. They didn't come back until we started this strike in 20. That's one of the things that instigated this strike. Did it take 1 year for you to either accept or reject? Then we also, this year again, they appointed Nimi Breeze Committee. And Nimi Breeze Committee met with us again, and we asked them again, do you have the mandate of the government? They say yes. Therefore, go and bring that mandate in writing. And what you are proposing this time, which they did in writing, and we have it.
So what is the government proposing?
They are proposing salary increase, which we all of us accepted and we agree. Where we have some disagreement was the taxation. You know, ASUU, many Nigerians don't understand, when we say salary of ASUU, they are all not salary by say. Part of it is for your working tools, your publications, journal publications, conference attendant, buying of books, subscription to journal, and what have you. These are what you need to do your work. It's part of that salary. That all those aspects should be removed and put as not taxable. You don't tax items of work. And then you leave a column for salary, which they agreed. All of us agreed. And they went back to their principal again, as they did before, during Musa Jabri, to get permission to sign. And we were waiting for them. Then the next thing you had the Minister of Labor, the two of them, went to air and said, we need 1.1 trillion. How they generated, we don't know. They said what they gave us, this amount, gave them like a lower amount, that we chased out the government ministry when they were negotiating, that Musa Jibri was just there and we allocated to ourselves. Musa Jibri want to make the interest, and all lies. And thank God and that committee set up by government, headed by Minimiri, have come out to the public in a paid advert to say all those things were lies. All the idea was just to raise unnecessary issue against the union, so that government will not sign. And what did they do? They came back 3 weeks ago and said, no, that thing we negotiated, that you brought to us, your own proposal to us, which we accepted, that is no more invalid. That the group, a union known as National Salary Income and Wage Commission, said they should just dash us little thing. And I said, we don't expect dash. We negotiate salary. You know the idea? If I dash you something, I can still take it back. If I dash you today, and I can take it back. If I give you an award, I can retrieve it. But if you haven't negotiated something, it becomes binding.
Was there a figure for the dash? They proposed the dash as you put
it. Just pretense. Today, let me put it, I will be repeated all over again. The basis for you to access a lecturer. University is universal. And that's why any country you go in this world, you see Nigerian lecturing. When you come to Nigerian university, you don't see a single foreigner teacher, not even from Benin. So for you to have a university well-ranked, you have to, one of the indices they use, that you have to have foreign lecturers teaching in the university to be well-ranked, bringing their own knowledge, bringing their own background. You should have students from all over the country, all over the world, come as students in the class. But in Nigeria today, you don't have such thing. Why? Because of what you pay your lecturers.
Perhaps one of the issues on ground now, which is perhaps one of the biggest bones of contention, is the no work, no pay issue, where the government has said that it cannot pay ASUU for the period it was on strike. And it would seem that that's another issue. If that, is ASUU willing to shift grounds on that, if all the demands are met?
Let me explain again. Those are just blackmails. Have we reached there? Have they addressed the issue while we're on strike? What are they talking about? No work, no pay.
Is that not a concern for ASUU?
Is it part of the issue we're raising when we're negotiating with them?
No, is it not a concern for ASUU?
When you get there, you talk about it. But when the minister came on air, that was the main issue, which is not wrong. Address what we have in our negotiation.
But that's why I ask you, Prof.
I will come to it.
If the government addresses other issues without the no work, no pay.
I will come to that. But what I'm saying, why should you be bringing it now? You purposely, deliberately delay the negotiation. Purposely delay the negotiation. You purposely, government purposely ensure that our children stay at home for 6 or 8 months. Purposely. Because if they have come in, if they are coming to negotiate with you in February, the student will not stay at home. If they are coming in March, they will not be at home. If they are coming in April, but purposely, deliberately delay the process. You will set up a panel, they'll give you a report, you delay it for 1 year before you release the result. Purposely delayed it. And then, instead of addressing the issue, I don't know, no work, no pay. Now, let's talk about no work, no pay. In my letter of appointment, and every lecturer in Nigerian university, just like you have in the world, the function of a lecturer is teaching, research, and community service. Those are the 3 trajectories of the function of lecturer. So if you're on strike, the only thing you're not teaching, which is one of the function of the lecturer, is you're not teaching. When you go to the you see our colleagues in offices. You see them all over the way doing their research as part of their job, doing community service. So that is one asset. So if you are remove one and you are not finished, you are talking no work, no pay. That is one too. Unlike other areas, if the school resumes today, all of us will go back to where we stopped, 2020, 2021, and start making up for the time lost, for the period lost. What does that mean? When the university, there were no strike, when the university was running in the 70s, 80s, an average semester is 17 weeks. And in a session, you have 2 weeks, 2 semesters, which is 34 weeks. Out of 50, how many number of weeks in a year? 50-something weeks in a year. What that means is that you teach for 34 weeks, and you go on vacation, not leave. You go on vacation to go and relax, do your research, and come back after 3 months, 2 to 3 months, if you add the 2 semesters to start. But in the recent time, because of this strike, all the lecturers will forfeit all these vacations, forfeit all their leave to make up for what they have lost. So when I'm resuming now, I should be going on leave on that vacation. But we are going to go back to teach those things we have left. Bring those students. I have said it before and I will repeat it. And you can ask any university. The university where I teach, we have not lost a session. So if government said that when we come back, we should allow the children to just stay and start a new session. As I was speaking to you, there are 2 sets of students that have been admitted by JAM. 2 sets. We are going to teach them, bring them up. I would say we should allow those 2 tests to go, and allow JAM to do another one, and allow Nigerian students who are past JAM to allow those JAM to wash away. So these are the things. That's why I'm saying that to come with a threat that no work, no pay. Is that where we are now? Have we reached there? Have they? Look, we can tell about one open if we have resolved all the issues. I still start to resume. But what did they do? To set up against the student, to set up against the people, to blackmail us.
Well, I think
unnecessary.
Interestingly, that's where we are right now, because the students for whom you are fighting, or whom you say you are fighting, specifically the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, through the chairman, the president of the union, says that ASUU is self-serving and it would no longer support ASUU in this call for the government's intervention, because ASUU seems to be more focused about its welfare than the plight of the children, of the students.
The question, has his group ever supported the struggle for Nigerian students? In the 70s, 80s, students, and we have told any day the parents and the students take over this struggle, we will not have this problem. Have they ever supported any of the program? His own said. Apart from moving from one government office to another. So leave that one alone. Go and ask the ordinary student on the street. Not those leaders. What are we saying? Our university good? The little thing you have today, let me give you. In the public primary secondary schools, they are dead. But the teachers didn't fight. As I speak to you, so even with this one, with what we have now, you still have 95% of the students in the public university because of our struggle. Go to any state university, federal universities. The project you are seeing is the product of our struggle. And a student will say, go to the lab now. People being trained abroad, being trained all over the place. It's product of our struggle. The few things you have in laboratory, go and check in laboratory. It's the product of our struggle. And a student will say, we are not supporting you. Did we ask for their support when we started this struggle? We didn't ask for anybody's support. But we believe it's genuine.
It would seem that there are some cracks within your unions as well at the state level, because some schools are beginning to reopen or insisting that they will reopen, and it's sort of tied to your alleged statements describing them as quacks. And even though you've refuted that, I think a few hours ago we heard that Ekiti State University would be joining those who want to resume classes.
Let me put it okay, that we are in a place in Nigeria where we have journalism, people do all sorts of things. My appearance at Arise TV was very clear. It wasn't secret, just like we are talking now. What I said is very clear. The person on the government asked me a question, just like you have asked me now, that your members in 3 universities have abandoned this thing. He named them LASU, and I gave them that LASU will have problem with them. And because the university sacked all our all the leaders of our union in the that's why they're not on strike. That in Ekwasu, they are not even a member yet. We gave them, we are watching them, and they are not meeting the standard. And that Oshun, that they were punished for breaking our strike, and that they are part of the problem. So that is exactly what I said. And therefore, that our union there are not running well. That's why I use that word. Our union there are not running well. The university are not allowed that. That's use the word quacks. Are not allowed the union to run well. I didn't say state university. Then I mentioned 3 again. Ekiti State University, Kaduna State University. So that Nigeria will hear Kaduna University and Yobe State University. That those universities, although the management and government have forced the university to announce resumption, our members say they are not teaching. That's what I said on those 3 universities. But I'm surprised that they are busy writing all sorts of things. That is exactly the word I use. When I finish, the person, Abati, now ask, do you mean that those really don't matter? And when he used those, my impression of those are those 3 universities mentioned. And I say yes, because they are not there. Are they correct? And they say yes. Because if you are not doing what is correct, what do you refer that for? If your profession, this is your profession, you're not doing, what do you call it? So I didn't say state university, but a group of media have gone to say that the president of ASUU say trade universities are quacks.
But how
I never used that word.
How's the union handling the reopening of certain universities? Is it not leading to a crack in your...
There is no crack. Like I said, ASUU does not run a university. Every university can announce resumption. No, you are not resumption. I remember I said they will not teach. We are not coming back from strike. We didn't close universities. No university sat down, ASUU said close university. So you can reopen, but I remember I said they will not teach. That is strike.
All right.
So that you note it very well. So if a university had now resumption, let me give one, the Ekiti. The vice chancellor went and called a meeting on Sunday, on Saturday. It's not a working day. Collected a few people, deans, HOD, and headed for a meeting. Which then, that body is not an organ of a university anywhere. You call for a meeting and say they have now resumption. Is that how? It's the Senate of University that announces resumption. That is the standard. So they should know that what they have done is not correct. It's the Senate of a university that have the right by the law to announce resumption, not a committee called on Saturday by a VC. It's on universities. They say they are doing exam. But you know who are supervising? Youth corpers. They just go to this thing and pick old question and start giving question. For courses that have not been taught. Which means, and what they're doing too is marking. They do objective questions. So you are doing art, fine art. You ask objective questions in an exam so that anybody can mark it. What do you call that? Would that be allowed by any standard in the world? That the lecturer who should teach the course does not know when the exam is conducted, how the questions are marked. What do you call that? Maybe those who are running those universities who are busy talking in the press should tell us that the university where you are doing exam, when the lecturer taught the course, didn't know how you said the question, didn't know how the question is marked.
Professor,
so you know how we are going to pay for it? We are already paying. I will give it to you. In the 70s, 80s, I don't know where you were then in early 90s, you don't hear a building collapsing in Nigeria. You don't hear it. But today, there is no week a building does not collapse. Because a student passed through a university where you are using stove as a Bunsen burner. When in your generic office workshop, there is nothing. They are passed out. Just like Nigeria says that allow them to graduate. They graduate and they are the one heading those buildings you are seeing. They are the one now who now supervising those buildings when they have no idea of the practical component. And all of us are paying the price. Go to our road. A road is started today. Go the next year, it's gone. Because the man who you put there, a person who passed through the university without any practical component, without any this thing, he passes through, and he just look at the road, he sees star, he says, thank God, it's okay. By next year, you pass, it's bad. And if you don't do something urgently, I enter the medical team. You can enter a hospital, you have headache, they say you have cancer. Because the doctor didn't have all the complement of what you want. That is why any country that play with education, that say just graduate people, whether the thing is okay or not, graduate them. You are playing with the life of your people. And that's exactly where we are today. And I hope Nigeria and the government should for once, if one man can steal 109 million, let us steal 109 billion. And what ASUU is asking is not 109 billion. And the government says there's no money in your education. I don't think we should for once love this country and love our people.
Prof, speaking of which, now that you mention it, when the $23 million Abacha loot was, the agreement for the repatriation was signed, there were those who felt that the government should have channeled that money to ASUU. Would that have had any impact on ASUU's position?
Definitely. Let's take a typical man, you have a house, and your children are sick, your child is sick, seriously, and you have paid money and you were not expecting, where will you put the money? So that child should be the first thing you will treat, is it not? Right? Before you start thinking about how you are going to buy clothes. Or university are short for 6 months. You now have access. You keep saying there's most, and then a fund that you were not expecting came. Where should you, if we really love education, put the money? In that particular place. But you are seeing it. You are seeing how the country is doing. You see, you don't have money. So what are we saying? We need to love this country.
Prof, just before I let you go, you had talked about the position of the government and said that they had come with proposals which everyone had agreed to, but they went back and came and changed it. Just so Nigerians will be clear, what exactly is ASUU's stance on this, and what would make ASUU shift grounds, or has ASUU shifted grounds in any way? What would make ASUU call off the strike? What are some of the demands that you could let go of?
One, government should tell us and Nigerians, this money you say you have approved is alleged to have approved for revitalization. How much is it and where is it lodged? Where will it be released? Two, UTAS, that from the test, and government have confirmed it, that UTAS came top, as we agree with the meeting with the head of service, chief of staff and all others. Has UTAS been accepted as means of paying salary? Have you found out that IPCs, they have confirmed that IPCs came distant last, which is not good, and set a panel to look for that. If they have accepted, have they accepted that? Three, have they accepted the agreement we reached with the panel? They should come and tell us this, not just going to the press. It's who they should come to, not to the press. You should call us for a meeting and then we'll look at it. Not to the press. Not to the public.
All right, Prof.
That's collective bargaining.
Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, ASUU President, I'd like to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.